Welcome to Hand of Merlin Review, you progressive bastards. Hand of Merlin is a turn-based roguelite RPG set in Arthurian times with Merlin, Lancelot, Holy Grails and other fantasy elements in the lands of Avalon. Imagine Darkest Dungeon set in an Arthurian setting. That's basically it. I adore Darkest Dungeon and anything similar is always going to be interesting to me. Thankfully, one of the long-time viewers made me aware recently of this game and they even gifted me the game, so I started playing as soon as I could. Hand of Merlin is developed by Room C Games and my fellow Croatians, Crow Team, a Balkan developing juggernaut behind Talos Principle and Serious Sam. Story goes like this. Merlin has grown weaker in his desperate attempt to stop the cataclysm that is essentially something like dark magic that corrupts the land. Morgana Le Fay weakened Merlin and with the death of Arthur, defense against cataclysm has weakened. Game explains roguelike permadeath progression style in a way that there are many worlds and Merlin is present in each one, guiding and helping the defensive efforts. General story overall is alright. There are 4 lands in total and each land at the end has an event that is connected to an overarching story. More interesting than the actual good versus evil story are the many events and interactions while traveling through the land. I've beaten the game once and during all the attempts I've encountered many stories from each land that results in tough decision making at times and can lead to huge rewards like legendary relics that truly make a difference. Each quest and vast majority of node encounters have couple outcomes that can stretch into further lands and conclude there. Depends on the player and the resources at the time how far some of the quests can be pushed. Writing, decision making and rewards in the events is quite good. I don't know how many events there are in total, but they are random with each land having its own set of events. Played the game for about 15 hours and didn't notice too many of the events replaying over and over again, at least not to the degree it could become detrimental. I'm sure if you've played for 50 or 60 hours then most events would become quite familiar. Thankfully, due to various outcomes, event variety is bound to hold up for a significant amount of time. Resource management is done fantastic and it is quite wisely connected to the story situation and the land. Food affects the happiness of the party and can be bought at traders in cities or found in the world. At times also shared with the unfortunate ones during events, usually for a renown reward. Renown is experience points, essentially. 50 renown allows for the party to level up. Then there's mana that can be farmed at locations connected to Merlin's story. Mana is used for spells that are at times invaluable and quite powerful. Mana can also be used to finish some quests and riddles which usually leads to a powerful relic. Essence is used to unlock new spells, but it is quite rare. System works fantastic as it is very rewarding and due to how challenging the game is, every help you're gonna get is going to make a significant difference progressing forward. Combat is turn-based and quite tactical due to many status effects. Instead of having a large party and insane amount of enemies to fight, 3 party members are facing usually minimum of 3 enemies all the way up to 8 or 9 per encounter. Player needs to pay attention to a lot of things. Each enemy type has quite a different set of active and passive abilities. There's also cover, which plays a huge factor as ranged attacks can be quite powerful on both sides. Game also uses collision damage method by pushing enemies with shield bash into obstacles or other enemies. There's a lot of combinations to increase damage output and survivability. Classes complement each other in many ways which leads to satisfaction upon clearing encounters without taking any damage. Armor regenerates after each fight and can be restored in many ways during combat, but health is much more difficult to heal because it doesn't replenish after fights and usually requires specific events or visiting healer in town which can cost a large sum. Hand of Merlin is quite a challenging game. I've cleared it on normal but couldn't do it on hard at first, which makes sense. Game wants players to first play on easier difficulties to unlock spells, guardian cores, new relics, characters and advanced versions of the characters which are unlocked after beating the last mission on a normal difficulty or higher. Game has quite a good system in terms of difficulty progression that creates enough motivation to attempt tougher difficulties due to new unlocks. New relics are better, advanced classes are better stat-wise, new guardian cores contain different spells, and so on. Helpful unlocks for hard difficulty, pretty much a must-have. There are few issues with combat though, lack of enemy diversity being one of them. Missed opportunity to add more fantasy creatures to make encounters more interesting. This way we have only 2 or 3 human types and 8 types of abominations if I counted correctly. Not enough. Balancing is quite good, but there is a bit of a problem at times with how difficult is manipulated in some of the missions. I hate when enemies just spawn during the fight. It's a very cheap added difficulty which removes planning significance, but on the other hand it accounts for the chaos while fighting alien-like creatures. Presentation is also a bit underwhelming. Problem with turn-based combat is that it lacks the dynamics of any other combat style, so it needs more oomph for each action in order to be more satisfying and engaging. Tactically, combat is great, which is far more important than the presentation. But due to the nature of turn-based, it just needs more. I adore turn-based combat, by the way, it's my favorite, but there are levels to immersion, attack and kill satisfaction. For example, old games like Fallout have really good kill satisfaction and great sound effects. Something Hand of Merlin doesn't. Sound effects are bad, no finisher animations and attack impact is weak. Character progression is quite good. Every level up max health or armor can be increased by a bit and every 5 levels other stats can be improved. New skills are chosen and then upgraded after all 4 slots have been fulfilled. Already mentioned that by clearing the game on normal or hard, higher tier of each character is unlocked with better stats. Abilities are awesome and vary so much. Every time an ability is about to be upgraded, 2 versions are offered. There are more than 2 versions for each ability, by the way, so it's RNG which upgrades are offered. Ability balancing is good, but there are favorites of course. Abilities have limited charges, so it is important to know when to use them. Very interesting system that works great and can create very defective team tactics. Only negative would be that there could be more class types with unique set of skills. 3 classes with 4 characters in each of the classes that have few differences when compared to other characters from the same class. More unique set of skills for each character and maybe a whole other class or 2 would be an awesome addition. Hand of Merlin is quite a good game, with some great ideas like focusing on status effects more than your average turn-based RPG, highly important resource management, great abilities, good combat, awesome campaign progression, but lack of enemy variety, classes, bland combat visually and world traveling presentation keep it from the status of a great game. I give it a 7 out of 10, which translates to a good game. That would be all. Check out Patreon and subscribe, star links in the description if you want to see some reaction videos, and see you soon.